What's up guys, your girl Luca here, and boy do I have a lot to say. So we talked a little bit on my podcast about what had happened on Wednesday, January 6th at Capitol Hill, the quote-unquote insurrection. And since then, it's been like a domino effect as social media platforms have done everything in their power to get rid of those who are considered high risk when it comes to this idea of inciting violence. So President Trump's been removed, some of his colleagues have been removed, along with YouTubers like The Quartering. Not that I really care about that guy. Actually, I don't agree with any of dude's views, but it is interesting to see how quickly these platforms are moving when it comes to this purge. Some people are comparing this to 1984, and all I have to say to that is clearly y'all have not actually read the book, considering things were a lot more drastic in that novel, and I would know seeing as I had to read it for a high school English class. But whatever, we're here to talk about this article that was released talking about the Punisher, specifically the Punisher's iconic logo, the skull logo. Now it must be a slow news week or something, because honestly the fact that this was even made into a full-length article is ridiculous. Hey guys, I'm just gonna rob the local Denny's with a Spider-Man t-shirt. Make sure you ban that icon too. Let's see what he had to say, shall we? The infamous skull logo was spotted on more than one of the rioters taking part in the violent uprising at the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. One particularly disturbing example involved a masked suspect who broke into the Senate building while holding a handful of zip ties and appearing to be in illegal possession of a handgun in his right hip. It is illegal to bring firearms into the Capitol. On the front of his flak jacket, the Punisher's skull is clearly visible. It's just the latest, but perhaps most disturbing example of how Frank Castle and his iconic logo have been misappropriated. The article continues to discuss this and goes into detail as to why Marvel should consider changing the Punisher's icon, and I just know in my heart of hearts that it is only going to get worse from here. Instead of focusing on the real issues, people are gonna break out their agenda books, literally, and go through this laundry list of characters in movies and TV shows that are all considered problematic and used what happened at the Capitol as justification as to get these characters and TV shows and movies removed or changed in some nonsensical way. The Punisher logo is iconic to that character. It should not change just because of outside events. Outside events that have nothing to do with what's happening with the actual character. Now, Mike, who wrote this article, actually did his due diligence and reached out to Garth Ennis, a famous comic book writer who has had his own run of the Punisher. And Garth expressed his feelings on the insurrection and the people who were wearing the Punisher the Punisher logo as they stormed the Capitol. And thank God, at least in this instance, Garth Ennis is not brain dead, because he said, "No one is going to suggest that the American flag is now a fascist symbol and should be treated as such just because a bunch of would-be fascists employed it yesterday. I doubt there's anyone who would suggest that any of the clowns who wore the Punisher skull on Wednesday would have acted any differently in DC had it or the character never existed. They did what they did because their demented turd of a leader convinced them the election had been stolen. If you're ready to take violent action on that basis, then no bloody, silly t-shirt you wear will have any bearing on the line you've crossed. In fact, it's completely irrelevant." Let me say that again. In fact, it's completely irrelevant. Despite Ennis dismissing claims that there's somehow a connection between the two, this goofball continues on with this trend. Like, dude, his mind is made up. There's like nothing you can say to change it, right? But he says the Punisher has always been a polarizing figure. Frank Castle is a merciless killer with enough fictional notches on his belt to impress Thanos. In the real world, that skull he wears on his chest has become a twisted symbol of violence and retribution. That is infinitely more frightening, and it is something Marvel can't wait to address any longer. And dude, honestly, given how things are right now when it comes to this kind of stuff, Marvel's probably gonna end up addressing it. They're gonna probably end up shelving the character indefinitely or getting rid of the logo entirely. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and change the Punisher's name to the Tickler. Man, Frank Castle, that cold-blooded killer, nah, he's like a used car salesman or some other ridiculous new origin story they can come up with. Because just like with the video games cause violence argument, this somehow has a connection to real life. All I gotta say about this, guys, is it's only gonna get worse. We're gonna see more of these goofballs run to write articles like this talking about, what problematic fictional character can I use to push my agenda? But whatever, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll hit y'all next time. Peace!